Doing live. Welcome, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Let's say recording started. Let me just make sure I can see everything on my end that we streaming. We up live on everything.
Happy Friday.
Happy Finance Friday. Come on in. We're gonna give people some time to get in here. Got a good letter today.
We have a really good letter today. It was a good Friday also. Hey, Dr. Lydia. I see Doc is in here. I see Jordan's in here.
Hey, Dr. Lydia. What's up, Jordan Pretty? Me and Jordan was having this long game of Connect Four going on for like 3 days, and it literally got down to like the last 3 moves, and she beat me.
Yeah, she says she literally is the champ of everything. Every time I play her, she just be beating me. So, and like you said, I forget to play sometimes, so she got to remind me to hop on and play.
Okay, we up on
Let
that.
us know you're in the room. Hey, Ada. Thanks for joining.
Welcome.
We got a real good letter today, so hopefully we get a good turnout. Communicate with us in the letter. Let us in the chat. Let us know you're here and give us some feedback with this letter, because I think that this one is really relatable. So I couldn't wait to share this one with everyone this evening. We've been getting some good letters in.
Okay.
We're going to give a few more minutes. Hey, Julesy. Happy Friday.
Yep, the viewers rolling in. The numbers going up on YouTube right now, and we live on Facebook too. So we good to go.
Okay, Ada said she set her alarm. Thank you.
I was just about to say, it's like they on here like clockwork. I ain't gonna lie. We definitely appreciate it.
Okay, we getting some people that like our little talks here. Well, let me just start while I give a few people. Hey, Josie. Well, I give a few people like maybe another minute to get in the chat. So I had a really great, eventful week, a long week. Everyone, thank you so much I'm still getting all of the congratulations for the Hall of Fame induction. I mean, it's just such a huge honor, even to go back to my high school and see everybody and so forth, and just to still see the students. Some of the students remember who I was from coming up from presentations. They were coming up to me like, I know what I want to do once I graduate, and telling me their plans and all of those things. So I'm just so grateful. I'm just in a season of overflow in my life, and I'm extremely grateful. And it's great, and it's an amazing and a great feeling to feel and to be appreciated. So sometimes in the past it used to be, I know some people have a hard time even when people give them compliments and to feel appreciated, and they don't like it. But I've learned at this stage of my life to accept it. So I accept all of the well wishes, all of the kind words. I'm forever grateful for everything. And to my dear friend Ada for my nomination. I know she has been saying for some time, she was like, I'm getting you in there, all the stuff that I was doing in the community. So I definitely appreciate everyone just taking a moment to extend the olive branch to share that with someone else in our community, because I am definitely appreciative. Oh, yeah. I think so too. I have to ask, because it's the twins, so I got to figure out which one it is that came up to me. But he was just like, it's some twins that go to Carver, and anytime I'm there, they're always looking for me. They're always like, please don't start that presentation without me. So yes, he came up to me immediately after. Thank you, and was telling me all about his plans for college and what he plans on doing with ROTC and all of those things. So I was just feeling, yes, yes, he be crushing. Yeah, so I was extremely excited. So I want to get into this amazing letter. I'm going to start putting the subject of our letters down in the banner. So the subject of our letter, well, first and foremost, welcome to another episode of Finance Friday, the CEO Lounge. I am your host, Dr. Ebony MacArthur, and I'm here with my co-host, none other than my oldest son.
I'm IAM Branch CEO, everybody, Monte Newsom. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yes.
Congrats again to my mom. Everybody who don't know, she was inducted into her high school, Carverville Technical School Hall of Fame this week. So big congratulations. I'm just posting it on my YouTube. Not my YouTube, posting the YouTube link on my Instagram the business page and stuff. But that's definitely a huge deal. Congratulations. And yeah, I'm glad that you are accepting, your flowers. Because I actually was doing an orientation yesterday, and I think it was just a question that was on there, and we were just talking about it. They was talking about like children receiving praise and stuff. But people who don't know, I'm a qualified mental health professional, so I work with children all the way up to adults with different mental health, behaviors and things like that. And one of the things we was talking about were that children actually shy away from praise because they don't feel worthy of it. So that's good that, that kind of hit home when you just had said that. So
yeah, that's one of those things that we gotta be comfortable with doing, because a lot of people are not comfortable with doing those things. And people will give them compliments and they don't want them. They don't know how to respond, things like that. So at minimum, I've learned how to say, I definitely receive it, because I do. So I'm very, very grateful. And my husband now got to buy me a brand new home because I have so many things I got to put on the wall in my office. So now he won't have no other choice but to buy me my forever home, my mega mansion. He don't have no other choice because I need more wall space in my office, because I have been just receiving so many different awards and so forth that I want to put up and display, which a lot of them I have up, but it's so many more that I do want to get up. So, but yes, thank you for joining us today. And I'm gonna hop right into the subject of today's letter is high income, low discipline. I'm making six figures, so why is my bank account at zero? So Let's get started. It's a few different things we're gonna unpack with this letter. I even have a tiny bit of notes because I don't want to miss anything with this one. But it's a few things, so we're gonna stay on our time frame, but we're gonna unpack this one. So first and foremost, it reads, Dear Dr. Ebb and I Am Brand CEO, I'm the person everyone in my circle comes to for a loan because on paper, I've made it. I'm making over $120,000 a year, but here's the truth. I'm too embarrassed to tell them I'm still living paycheck to paycheck. I don't have any kids and my rent is manageable, but I've let lifestyle creep become a monster. Between the $200 weekend brunches, the last minute trips to Tulum, the designer sneakers, and a dozen subscriptions that I don't even use, my money is gone before the direct deposit even hits. My friends think I'm rich, but I'm one car breakdown away from a total disaster because I don't even have a $1,000 emergency fund. I feel like a fraud. Every time I try to budget, I feel deprived and end up on a revenge spending spree at the mall. I am brand CEO. How do I fix my brand when my bank account doesn't match my lifestyle? And Dr. Ebb, how do high earners break these bad habits and actually start building wealth without feeling like they are grounded? Signed, high income, low discipline.
Whoa, so you making six figures and living paycheck to paycheck. And as crazy as it sounds, it's a good amount of people out here that's, have trouble managing money like that.
It's more than a good amount. It's more than a good amount. And things are, increasing by the day and by the moment. So that's why, I always, let me start by saying this. I used to do this all the time with my children. I would put into like the group chat and we would kind of do, somebody said, yes, really, things are increasing by the moment. So I used to always put these little trivias in our group chat that would say things like, if you only had two options, what would you select? A 850 credit score, $200,000 right now, $10,000 per month, or $1,000 a day. And
what would y'all choose? What would y'all choose? As she talking, y'all put it in the chat.
Yeah, put it in the chat. And I don't even know. Let me remember what I just said. I talk all the time. I forget what I just said. So I said an 850 credit score. I said $250,000 right now. I said $10,000 a month or $1,000 per day. So I will always give, Jordan said, that's a hard choice. So it really is not a hard choice. So because I have an undergrad in finance, anybody who's ever studied finance, the true way to determine this is called time value of money. So what it means is you always want to take the lump sum simply because, oh, hey, Stasia.
Hey, Stay, thank you for joining.
$1 today is more valuable than $1 tomorrow simply because you can invest it. And the other reason is because of inflation. So the money that we received last week is not equal to the money that we're going to receive this week. And a great example is, I just saw somebody post that they pay like $6 a gallon for gas. So if you see those options and you can get all of the lump sum now, you can invest that $200,000. Like for $200,000, you can own a Chick-fil-A nowadays. You know, why would you take $1,000 a day? But people will look at, you know, possibly some of those things where it's just like, well, $1,000 a day, by the time 30 years get, it'll be more than this amount. But you can't measure that because of those increases that will happen in life, because life is just going to continue. Oh, I see that you put it in the chat. Because life is coming in late. Life is going to continue to life. So with that being said, what I want to break down in this letter is number one, why a high salary doesn't equal wealth. So let me start there. Most of the time people assume that, you know, a high salary does equal wealth, and that when they see or think that someone, quote unquote, makes a lot of money, then they'll automatically think, you know, they got it like that. You know, they'll assume, oh, they have it. What they don't understand is, you know, that income also comes with another level of bills, another level of expenses. You know, maybe that person also has a business. Maybe they have multiple cars. Maybe they have multiple homes that they own. You know, those things also come with additional price tag. And I always say success is expensive by itself. So when you see someone that even has, you know, a tiny bit of success, just know that it costs them to even get to that level. Someone has sent me a message. Well, they tagged me in a message on Facebook the other day, and they were just explaining, saying to me that they was like, hey, just jokingly, but saying, hey, Dr. Ebb, you never told me how expensive it is to do a PhD program. And I'm like, yes, just having that degree, you have to have a certain amount of income. So when you see somebody walking around with a PhD or a doctorate degree, that it costs just to be in that realm, you know, just to breathe that airspace costs a certain amount of money. So I always say, you know, when you see people like that, then it just is that assumption, and your family and friends will start to assume, you know, that person made it because they think that that equals the same. And not saying that that person hasn't. They probably dreamed of the life that they have now and the income that they have now and things like that. But it also just comes with another level of expenses.
Yes, I agree 100%. I actually just seen something that, and it's actually before I even say that, I always remember you saying growing up, I think we actually used to be talking about like P. Diddy and people like that, and you used to always tell me like the more money you make, the more, you know, like the more stuff you'll have to pay for, the more bills and stuff you'll have. So you tell me like, you know, save and do the right things with my money while I don't have any children and don't have any bills, because the more money you make, that stuff will come along. So I guess it's just like a learn as you grow type of thing, but it's also better, you know, to have somebody to tell you this up front, because a lot of people don't understand, like, yeah, the more money you make, you know, it take money to make money. The more money you make, is going to be more stuff to pay for and so forth.
And you're going to want more stuff. So just think about it. When you have a $20,000 income, you might be driving a little putt-putt, but just imagine if you get to $120,000, you're going to be like, oh, I need a new car. And now you're going to take on a car payment that you possibly would have never taken on before. And then once you get to $150,000, now it's going to be like, oh, matter of fact, I might be able to get that Benz that I always wanted versus that Honda that I was driving before. You know, those things like that are lifestyle changes, but it's just a natural occurrence once people begin to make more money. So I wanted to touch on that also, because in the letter, she definitely said, you know, to her family and friends, everybody is just assuming that you have it. And it doesn't negate the fact that she's making the money that she's making. It's just, it takes a little bit of time once you start making the money too, because that's another thing. You know, how long has she been making $120,000? And we've been saying this every single week. Give us your age. You know, your age doesn't matter. Give us your age. Tell us how old you are. Ostasia was saying congratulations. Thank you, Stay. Yes, tell us your age when you write the letters, because the age makes a difference to me also, you know, or how long you have been in this income bracket, because if it's new money, then oftentimes, that might make a difference as well. You're newly earning this money, so you're just adjusting to it. You don't have a lot of savings put up yet. So I always say, even with our young people, give them a little bit of grace. When they're first starting their career and they're making a little bit of money, don't just assume as soon as they get the job that they're supposed to have all this stability and all these things in place. Sometimes that stuff is a 5-year turnaround for you to get set up. Maybe you even have a little bit of money put aside, but you're using it to get furniture for your new place, or, things like that, or trying to put a little bit aside and also still live a little bit. And I know she said in the letter she doesn't have any kids or anything. So hopefully she's able to, create some kind of savings, but it also looks like we're running into some bad habits here.
Yeah, I agree. I think even Ice Cube, he said if you're a business owner and you're not willing to run your business for at least 5 years without seeing any like profit on top of it, then you're not ready to be a business owner. Like, it's not just about instant gratification. And I'm gonna just jump right into what she said. I am brand CEO. Like, how do I fix my brand when my bank account doesn't match my lifestyle? I feel like you shouldn't try to make your brand match your bank account. Rome said it's easy to get a car, hard to maintain it. I've seen so many people run out, buy expensive cars, but never think about the price or the maintenance with that vehicle. Yeah, that's 100%. People getting them foreigns and everything, and when you need an oil change or a new tire, you're looking at way more than what it is if you got a Toyota or a Honda. So that's also why you gotta look at people like I don't know, you gotta hang around people who you want to be like. Like they say, you hang around 5 rich people, you'll be the 5th. You'll be the 6th. You hang around 5 broke people, you'll be the 6th. Drunk people, same exact thing. So like, you just gotta watch people and their mannerisms of who you want to be like, or who you look up to. Like how they said 50 Cent and Kanye West and Jeff Bezos, they was, super rich, but they was still living in like a $2,000 a month condo. I know people see J. Cole riding around now in the Honda going state to state. So like, my answer to her or this person would just be, don't try to have your brand match your bank account. Have your brand match who you are. And I feel like you would have to change yourself as a person, or like work, just not change yourself, but work on self-improvement and improve your discipline. Because you don't have any children. You say she said that her, rent was low. So I feel like it's just the fact of the image she wants people to look at her as. And, she's saying everybody in her family thinks she got it all, but she never, mentioned that she telling them that, I don't have it all. Or even if I do have it all right now, I don't have it all. Like, maybe I can't give you a loan this week, but I might be able to give you a loan next month because I'm trying to save for myself. So I feel like she's got to be more disciplined with her spending and try to, if you are making some of that money, you need to have somebody around you, or you need to start studying on your own for different investments. If you bring in 6 figures a year, don't keep buying liabilities. At least try to invest a little bit of it so you can, like you just said, $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow. So because you can invest it. So I feel like she just needs to work on her money management, discipline, and just work on her like where she's putting her money into.
Yeah, definitely. I would recommend getting a budget, because that will be able to kind of outline some of these things. Because people think that when you say budget, that you can't do some of those miscellaneous things that you want to do. So I know she said, her trips to Tulum, her sneakers, things like that. It doesn't mean that you can't do those things. You just have to budget for them. So maybe you're going over what that allotted budget is for even that miscellaneous pot. So you need to set an amount that's realistic, but also you have to be able to make sure that you're not going over it. So if you have a budget set, if you're making $120,000 a year, you should be able to even set a $5,000 miscellaneous annual budget. That should be enough for just yourself to pay for a vacation, because you're not paying for multiple people. You're just paying for your expense, as well as to be able to get, some things throughout the year. And you should be able to still see some of your income. So to me, I'm not sure, again, how long she's been getting the money. Maybe it's an adjustment, because it's not all $120,000 at one time. So I don't know if that's before taxes. I don't know if that's after taxes, but you have to consider all of those things and all of those expenses as well. I see we got some things coming into the chat. Dr. Lydia said this one wasn't just about money. It was about habits and identity. It definitely is. It's about bad. She talked about this lifestyle creep being a huge monster. Oh, Monte showing my budget book. Yes, get my budget book.
I use this. Y'all need to get this.
Yes, definitely get my budget book. But it's about those bad habits, and we see that so much, like time and time again. Where I've even had people tell me before that they don't want to own a home because they don't want to disrupt their children's lifestyle.
The
and
next
that, things like this always sit with me. Like, what is your children's lifestyle that I just don't understand? You know, you have to budget to what your lifestyle is, because clearly if you can't afford home ownership just because of, you know, a middle schooler's lifestyle, that doesn't even make any sense. Ada said, I think in certain cultures, once you make it to a level, it's expected that you level up. Success can level you up in different aspects, but it can also be a setup for you to fall quickly. That's exactly it. Especially, I mean, we talk about educating in our community because we do, like Monte said the other day, you know, our message is for everybody, every race, every culture, but we only know how to be our culture. You know, this is how we was raised, this is the skin that we're in. So this is what we relate to the most. And we definitely see that in our community, that once you reach a certain level of success, people don't even believe you unless you get the bins. You know what I'm saying? You could be telling people like, listen, y'all, I'm making some serious money over here. If they don't see the flashiness, they don't see it all on social media, they don't see you posting your watch and your shoes and your house and your pool and all of those things, you know, oftentimes people, you know, might even question it a little bit and even regard someone who's showing the flashiness and the glitz and glam a little more than someone that may even have more. It may be doing a little better, but they just choose not to showcase that.
Yeah, I was waiting for the next Ada last comment to show up. This one about to pop one. Oh, there you go, right there. Yeah, she said that setup is also referred to as keeping up with the Joneses. What you and Rome always say. You need to keep up with your name and not the people who you don't live with.
Yeah. You know, we've been saying that to y'all forever. You know, Rome can't stand. I know Rome in the chat. Rome can't stand that. Don't tell him about what nobody else doing. He want to know what you doing. Like you can't come to him. And I mean, Rome has been like that with all of our kids. My husband Jerome has been like that with all of our kids. I mean, as far back as I can remember. I don't even care if they was in 7th grade. Don't come to him and tell him what KD doing. How many points KD got. He'll be like, no, how many points you got
what
tonight?
You scored today? What you did?
You need to work on your game. Don't worry about what that man doing. You need to worry about what you doing. You know, that's just something we always instill, because that's what people do. They just try to keep up. And like you said, now we live in a day and age of social media. So I know in the letter she talked about like trips to Tulum, you know, these designer sneakers and all of these things. And even she had mentioned, you know, just to piggyback on a statement in the letter about the subscriptions that she had that she don't even use.
Yeah, like that's why I said I think it's her discipline and just like she need to self-reflect with herself as well, because if you know, one, it stuck out to me that she said she doesn't even have $1,000 saved up. So you telling me even if it's not coming in at a large sum, you're not even saving you're not even spending 119,000. You're spending the entire 120. Like you don't even have 100 just to put to the side and accumulate the $1,000 that's saved up. So I definitely think she needs to do a little bit of self-reflecting, and that's okay. Like I feel like at every stage of your life, no matter how old you are, we always need self-reflecting. I feel like the world is always changing. The world is always moving. And if you don't do that self-reflection and you don't, you know, get up and learn what's happening in the world today versus what was happening 5 years ago or 10 years ago, then you'll get left behind. So I feel like everybody at all ages should do that self-reflecting.
Hey, Brandon. I see Brandon in the chat. Thanks for joining us this evening.
And I don't know if it's like a new, and I feel like I'll just say this. I just seen one, it was actually Mr. 2 weeks out. I just seen somebody on social media basically saying they reposted a video of a lady saying she doesn't partner with poor people. And what she said, her definition of poor people are people who overlook opportunities repeatedly. So if you just are not out here trying to get your opportunities and you know that you just lead it, I think that's my guy. Smooth. Appreciate you for tuning in, bro.
Yes,
and
thanks
you know
for
that you just
here.
out here leisure spending. Like I feel like I don't know if it's the new age entrepreneurs or you can speak on if you've been seeing it for a while, but I feel like some people are using the tactic of I need to go buy the Lamborghini and I need to buy the Range Rover. I need to post the jewelry and stuff on my social media so it can, like exactly what this girl in the letter is saying. It needs to look like I'm having this type of persona put on, but that's really not how I'm living. And I feel like that has a big part to do with social media, but I don't think that's the smartest thing to do. Like I feel like it's also, people, like I was saying a couple weeks ago, people want to come to your brand or, buy your product or service because of who you are. Like, it's trainers out here who curse and use, different language, strong language. There's trainers out here that joke with their clients and be like, oh, you need to get up and stop eating all them cupcakes. And like, it just depends what type of person you're looking for. Your audience will gravitate towards you. So I feel like that's why a lot of people is getting in this type of hole, because they trying to please their audience and not just be their authentic self and let their audience come to them.
Yeah, Mr. Rice said he's from the hospital bed. Get well soon. I don't know what's going on, but you'll be in our prayers.
But we definitely appreciate you for being on here out of all the things you could be doing and possibly dealing with right now. So
yeah, he said Hyundai drives fine, paid off. Exactly. Like I feel like one thing about it too is when people do that, then oftentimes I just feel like, just my personal opinion on this is that, when you've been getting money for a certain amount of time, then you lose the feeling to impress a little bit. So oftentimes the first thing I'm going to assume, and again, I don't like assuming, but we all kind of assume, and definitely not judging, but we also, when we see certain things, we form our own opinions just as humans. And a lot of times I just always assume that it's possibly newer money, because you don't want to, once you've been getting it for a while, you even lose the sensation of trying to impress people. If you've been doing things for a certain amount of time, you've been making this money for a certain amount of time, and you're like, hey, I've been making 6 figures for 30 years. Then you kind of, maybe in the beginning, you do all the trips to Tulum and all the things and all, that you don't need, or now you can't budget and so forth. But after some time, I feel like that most people who are pretty established don't often fall into those traps anymore. Like Jerome and I for years would always purposely go out, like say if we were going to get a fancy, car or foreign or something, we would purposely show up to the dealership looking broke, like as broke as you possibly can. Like I see people all the time and they want to show up, looking super fancy and all their name brand and all their stuff. And I'll be just like, I don't understand why. I'm trying to go into the dealership and act like I ain't even got it, because I'm trying to get a deal. You know what I'm saying? That's maybe what I'm thinking. But oftentimes people are just trying to impress so much that they walk into there and they want to show I'm big money. And next thing you know, they are paying, sticker price for everything, where I'm trying to go in and I ain't got it. You know what I'm saying? I want to walk in where they don't even believe we can buy anything here, until you pull my data. Let me give you my social and then you'll calm down, next thing you know, and we like that feeling. We like it's just something weird that we get the rush the opposite way, where, once you give them your information and now all of a sudden they start, almost trying to shine your shoes, they bringing you water. Do you want something to drink? Following you around, all of that, where it's just like, no, when we walked in here, y'all ain't really want to even deal with us. And then we'll probably even leave and go somewhere else where people are not judging people by the way that they look, because that's how we are as well. But it's just one of those things that people really do feel like they got to keep up with the Joneses. Ada put another question in the chat. My question is, who does she feel she needs to validation for? Family and friends. I can tell you that right now.
People that don't even like her.
Family, friends, and social media.
Behind her back. We were saying that week too. People trying to impress people who don't even like them.
Yeah, family, friends, social media, which is strangers. So family, friends, and strangers. That's exactly who they're trying to impress.
Yeah, she also asked. I don't. You can elaborate, or I can elaborate first. It doesn't matter. But she also was asking, and I think we should touch on it a little bit. How do high income earners break these bad habits? And I think a lot of people need to know about that.
Yeah, I think number one is budgeting. If you are new to making this money, which again, I'm assuming that, but if you are
now, get these available. A budget planner, a daily tracker.
Yes, track everything. Track everything. Ada said they brought you the Saratoga sparkling water and moved the Great Value water. Absolutely. Where it's just like that's
Saratoga water right now.
That's what they do. That's what they do. Like me and Jerome, we love to go out. He'll go out to, he'll want to test drive a Maybach and he'll wear his grass cutting clothes on purpose. You know what I'm saying? And Monte will tell you he'll do that on purpose to be like, I want to see how they're going to treat us, because we don't want to walk in and like, let me put on all my jewelry. Let me come in fancy. Let me see how they're going to react.
We got a 2010 BMW over here. Like, oh no, actually, I was looking at the 2026. I was actually interested in seeing the new one. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, and that determines when you're going to spend some money. Do you want to even spend it with this business? Like, it'll get to a point where you even start being particular about where you put your money. When you get to that level as well. But I was answering what you said about what some things. Definitely budget. I feel like our community feels like budgeting is for people with low income. I always say the exact opposite. I did 3 sessions with the Baltimore City Police Department, University of Maryland Police Department.
Mr. Wright said that budget book has been a total game changer in my house. Y'all need to tap in.
Thank you. Yes, I forgot you purchased one as well. Yes, you gotta write everything down. Like, if you even want, let's just say you're in the beginning stages even, and let's just say you make $700,000 a year, but you don't even really budget, or you make $20,000 a year and you don't budget. Start practicing, like, tracking every single penny.
I don't know.
Start tracking every single penny that comes through your house. Start there. So when I started tracking every penny, it was at the height of some, we were doing really, really, really well, especially for our age. And I started tracking every penny, and I noticed that it even took us to that next level, because we were just spending because we had it a little bit. I remember, I know Monte remembers this because Monte remembers everything. We used to do Pizza Friday every single Friday. And not only would we pay for our kids to have pizza, I mean, we were taking neighborhood kids out to, like,
cousins, everybody. Stage, you've been to Pizza Friday before with us.
Steak and lobster. I mean, we was doing the most, and clearly it was just like, listen, this must be some new money people over here, because I feel like we were in our early 20s and we were just, we had kids that never had been to 5-star restaurants. We would gather up 10 of them. Take them. They can order to all the appetizers. We have 10 orders of buffalo wings on the table. We get
milkshakes and refills, and as you get older, you just like, I was actually fine with a water. Like, I didn't even need the
we would be doing all of that. We would try to expose some of the children. Yeah, we would be doing all of that. And then it got to a point where it was just like, listen, Pizza Friday is costing us $800 a Friday. You know what I'm saying? Let's reel that back a little bit. And then we actually started cutting out Pizza Friday and kind of budgeting. So that's just an example, even in our personal life, that we started doing once we started tracking every penny. So I would start by definitely saying budgeting. I see Ada put something in the chat that said, both of my aunts work for millionaires. They live very modestly. Rich people that I've been around have an average of 5 sets of pants and multiple shirts. Exactly. That's how I feel like I was raised. Like, I was raised that way, where most of the people that I've been around, who I know for a fact has gained a certain amount of wealth throughout their life, assets and so forth, that most of them are very, very modest, and most of them don't speak on it. They typically have high-end things on, but you might not even know it. They may have a custom tailored T-shirt on and you don't even know it, because all of their things go to the tailor. Everything that they have goes through the dry cleaners and it's tailored before it's sent back. But it might just look like a crisp white tee that if you ask them and they really start speaking on those things, they might be like, this is a $700 T-shirt. And then some of them might balance how they spend things. They may not have very expensive clothing, but you might walk into their home and they have a $5,000 rug. They may have a $28,000 piece of art on the wall or a lamp or something like that. So most people that I know who have, gained that amount of wealth and success, they typically don't do these little modest, trips to Tulum. Like, most of them probably don't even go to those places. It's just certain places that they don't go. But most of the time, people are just trying to stick with the Joneses, do what everybody else is doing, fit in with social media, have some things to post, even on their budget. But definitely how you get out of it, I would say first and foremost, get a budget. Like, you got to start writing things down. You have to start being accountable for every penny that comes through your house. And that would be first and foremost. And then start seeing where you can cut things back. That's the next thing. When you write down your budget, then you can determine how you can cut back on things. And I would start with all of those subscriptions.
Yeah, definitely the subscriptions. And stop buying, like you just said, stop buying everybody. I don't know what you ordering for yourself, but $200 at brunch is crazy. Like, you can eat and have a good time without spending $200 every time you go out to get some lunch. So definitely cut back on your expenses. And my answer would just be, more on the mental health side. I think she needs to also just work on her mindset, because, you can say budget, but people still might not know how to budget. And if they do try, they might write it down, and then 3 months later, they going back to the same exact habit. So I feel like you got to create a habit with that discipline and your mindset of, learning how to budget and actually putting yourself in that mindset of, actually budgeting and not worrying about what other people think. Like, I think almost every Friday I get on here and talk about how Adam Sandler just was at the award show in a sweatsuit and stuff. And that's something that sticks out to me, honestly. Like, if you just sitting around me and we watching a podcast or something, like I just was watching Jay-Z interview, Adam Sandler, Gilly, Wallow, Warren Buffett, like all of these rich people, and it intrigues me more when I'm like, yo, they got on a Nike t-shirt. Like, it's not one piece of jewelry right there, and that's like $1 billion conversation that they're having. So I always will notice when a millionaire or somebody who is wealthy is not wearing any jewelry or anything flashy. That sticks out to me first. I'll notice that before I look at somebody that got on the Cartier watch, because I probably gonna look at it like, them diamonds looking a little, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. Everything is a lie nowadays. We don't know. Morgan said the budget book showed me by my spare money was going towards DoorDash. I'm guilty as charged. That's the example I just gave. Morgan. Like, thank you for that transparency, because when you start budgeting, you can start tracking and seeing where you are literally. It's almost like a leaky faucet. Like, you can find the drip, where's my money going to, and why is it that, and when I started, and I'll just also have a transparent moment, and I see that Ada has a comment in the chat as well. But let me tell you, when I went to my husband to say, that I wanted to start tracking every penny that comes through our house, I felt the exact opposite than what most people assume. They assume that, you're so down and out that you want to start tracking money because you just so broke, behind on bills or something like that. I don't know why that stigma comes with budgeting, because that's why I share my story. When I said I wanted to start budgeting, I think this was probably 2012, 2013 is when I really, really said, I want to track every single penny, like not even just maintaining. No, I want to, every single penny that comes in and out of here, I want to budget and maintain. And when I did that, it was because I thought at that time that we were making so much money that it just felt like, it was like, where is all of this money at? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we should have been buying more properties. We should have been doing even more. Like, if we have 5 properties, we should have had 10 already. Those are the things that made me say, I think that we should really track some more money. If we have $200,000 saved, we should have $500,000 saved. Like, those are the conversations that I felt like tracking and budgeting was for my specific family. So I always say, no matter what budget or area you're in life, definitely track your expenses. You will find that leak in your finances. Ada said, truth moment. One of the ladies would only flush her toilet if it was a number 2. She only cut lights on after the sun went down. Mrs. Bunny was single and was filthy rich, living in Glen Oak area. Wow. She was trying to save more money, everything.
She was a real Julius, or Mr. Krabs. He said, that's 2 cents worth of butter you wasting.
Yeah.
Right? No.
Brandon said it takes 7 times to create a habit, but it takes about 21 times to break the habit. It's so true. It really takes so long to break the habit. So people get set in their ways. They'll do something for, a small amount of time, and they'll say, I budget for a little bit of time. And then this is another thing that we see in our community. What they often do is they don't want to take baby steps. Everybody want to just take a leap. So they don't feel as though that they are really making progress until they say, my goal is to save $1,000 a week. You ain't never saved $10 a week. How you jump to 1,000? Like $1,000 for somebody who's never done it. That's a huge amount of money to the average person to just start putting aside from paycheck to, like, you never saw $1,000 just sitting in your account. How can you put that aside? Like, possibly start with even say $20, $50. You know, I send my kids those save $10,000 in a year boxes and things like that. And most of the time you can put $5, $10, you know, it'll give different increments each week on what you put into the box. And then at the end of the year, you can outline, you know, I want to have $2,000 saved by the end of the year. Oh, yeah, Monte showing y'all everything I send him. I send my children so many different things. This is a box that I found on Amazon that I send to all my children that live in different states. I mail it to them. That is how you save $10,000. Every little square. Show them the squares, Monte.
We not just talk. I can't show them my box. I can't show them my box.
No, not inside the box, just the numbers. Look, I'm going so they can see the numbers. You see, every little number has different increments. That's the dollar amount that you are putting into the box to get you to 10,000. So if you see, some of them even say $5, $10. Some of them might say 100. Some of them might say 200. I don't know the maker of this box, but if you are interested in one of these boxes, I found it on Amazon. I'll send you the link.
It's a bunch of them. They $10 to $15 on Amazon. It's another little plastic cover that go over it, and I just X off every time I put something in there. So yeah, we up here Finance Friday. We really living this.
We live it
today. We're not just talking. We're not,
Absolutely not. I send these things to my children all the time because I want, Jordan said, thank you, Jordan, because I do want to, you know, we're definitely not just talking. I'm always so hesitant to even do these things because I don't want to be somebody else on the internet just saying anything, you know, for likes and things like that. I want to try to give some real life information from my real life experiences. And, you know, that's why I love doing this with my son, because he's been there with me from day one. So he's seen my growth, my progress. He's seen me save. He's seen me put pictures of a new house on the refrigerator and say, you know, this is what we're working towards, you know, kids, this is what we're trying to do. So we can't do all of these things right now because we're trying to get this house. And he's seen, you know, a few short months later, we're moving in the house, you know, things like that. And that's how you show and be an example. So I just love those things. But if you want a budget box, do the book, get the box, put the money in there, because the book is just writing things down. You really have to do the implementation. But that's the easy way that I try to tell my children, like, you can save $10,000 easy and just follow this model, and then you can do those things. So some people have never saved $10,000 in their life all at one time that they are not holding for a reason, you know. So if that's the case, definitely budget. Ada said I need to get myself one of those boxes. Just Ada. I sent my son those. I started sending them stuff like that years ago, but I always, when I find little things, I mail them books all the time. If I find books that are helpful on different things, even if it's just motivational type of books, I started sending Monte all of these books on fraud. Yeah, send them the Bible. I'm a true mom, y'all. I'm a true mom. I know everybody know me as a businesswoman, but I'm definitely a true mom. But get you one of the books. But I always try to share as much of the knowledge and as much of the information that I come across. If I find something that's interesting, you know, I just go right on Amazon, try to find it, and I'll mail it out to them so that they'll be able to have this information as well. But yes, I think this was a great, great letter that touched on very realistic things today that everybody can kind of work on, starting with budgeting, starting with expense tracking, starting with, no matter how much money you make, you're never at a place where budgeting doesn't make sense. You know, if you're struggling with your finances, then I got that one already for Ada. If you're struggling with your finances, that's like ground zero to start with. And you'll start becoming a little better with managing it. Because just like Dr. Lydia said earlier in the chat, like, this is a personality trait a little bit too. You know, sometimes people have those addictive personalities that they don't know that they have. They don't see it that way. We don't view things in our community in that manner. We'll just see it like, oh, it's just, you know, we got people, celebrities in the news with this gambling right now. It's a bunch of different things that you never know that are habits that you have until you expose your own habits and kind of sit down. And again, it goes back to that emotional intelligence as well. Like, sometimes spending is emotional.
That's what she said. Every time that, you know, she sees that, oh, my check coming and it's already gone, she's going out and basically leisure spending again out of emotion.
Yeah,
just the letter said.
Yeah, out of emotions, out of habit, you know, things like that. So yes, Monte, are you ready to jump over to our quick hits segment of the show? I'm gonna, do you want to get started? Do you have any stock quick hits or anything that's in the stock market right now that you want to share before I go into a few real estate related quick hits?
Not really
Who's
oil.
trading forex or
I've been
anything?
looking at some oil stuff. I know my group that's in here. We get up there and trade every day, or even talk about stocks and stuff like that. So just watching out for oil as the gas price fluctuate and stuff. This president is hilarious. So every day is something new with the stock market. But like I was telling y'all last week, nobody really get rich when the water is just shallow. Everybody get rich when the waves is going. That's the time to dive in and swim. So just make sure you are educated on whatever it is you're investing in, and yeah, you gotta take that leap of faith and start investing somewhere. Brick by brick, it's not gonna happen, in a large sum or overnight, but you gotta start somewhere.
Yup, absolutely. I see Ada left a comment that says, I'm trying to think if I have that book. I have the app. Yes, Ada also has my budget template app, as well as she said, I'll get one for me and one for Fatima. Yes, it's really good. And it shows children at a young age how they can save. And it's so easy. Brandon said, how do you feel about Chevron?
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't looked specifically into Chevron. I know that's one of the gas gas stocks and everything, but I haven't looked at it though. I'm actually about to put it in my notes right now so I can be on the look on. I'm gonna add it to my watch list so I can be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, maybe we can share some information on it next week. Yeah, like I said, what's happening in the real estate market is exactly the same, and that's why I said, time value of money. If you never heard that concept before, go look up time value of money. Learn about time value of money. When I learned about that several years ago when I was doing my undergrad in finance, it became a game changer for me, because understanding that $1 today is more valuable than $1 tomorrow, just because you can invest it, then you'll be a lot smarter when you're making your investment. So for everybody, even on my real estate side of the quick hits, things are volatile right now. We still have some grant programs that are funding, but interest rates are extremely volatile. So I have somebody closing on Tuesday with a 5.99% on an FHA loan, getting $15,000 from the seller in seller credits, getting about $20,000 from a federal grant program, probably getting a lot of money back at the closing table as well. However, that was a contract that we got into 45 days ago. So right now, today, I don't know if I could get someone a 5.99 unless they buy down the interest rate, just because of the volatility that we're seeing right now in the market because of the war and all of those things. So if you're one of those people that are sitting by the sideline and you're pretty much like, hey, I'm not sure if I want to do this, if I, what I want to do, what I don't want to do, I highly advise that when you're able to pull the trigger, this is what my dad always taught me. If you get a pre-approval letter, you have some money to invest, start now. That's always the answer. Always start, and be smart about it though. So you have to educate yourself about what you're getting yourself into. So it's going to take you a little bit of time if you are just, again, at ground zero, you're not that knowledgeable about real estate or stocks or where to invest, etc. Then like Monte just said, your watch list. I have several apps, my stockpile app. Sometimes I have a bunch of things sitting on my watch list where I'm just kind of watching, and I'm not even a stock guru. My son is, but I try to get a little more into, learning some of those things. So I do have a bunch of stocks, but I just, put money in it and let it and hold. I just kind of play that. I don't play, my son in Forex. Sometimes he'd be up trading the markets and watching the candlestick Bible. I can't do that. I just put the money in there and see and let it sit for 10 years. I'm just that person. I just do automatic deposits, let it sit. That's how I invest, when it comes to the stock market. But I do want to be more savvy on that, but I'm not the expert yet. So I'm always just trying to educate myself as much as possible. But when you're ready to pull the trigger, we talked about that in a previous session where, buy some small portions of a share. You don't have to always buy a full share. If you have $10 to invest, it's plenty of stocks that you can buy into with $10, Nike, Google, all of those things. You just have to get started. So just educate yourself and kind of get started. And I see Brandon has in the chat, I've also been looking up a lot of EFTs for tech and oil, and also REITs as well. Yes. So that's why, that goes back to what I said, to just continue to educate yourself. I do get a bunch of EFTs. I have a account that I've had for years on Stockpile. I'm not, branding them or anything. It's just one of those places that I put my kids on early on. But I also have Robinhood. I have a few of them. I always talk about Acorns. That's just something that I use when I'm just doing daily spending. So I have a bunch of different pockets. We all have all of my kids have a bunch of different mutual funds. We all have money market accounts. We all have all of those things as well that we've just had for years. So all it's about is just constantly doing small increments of those investments, putting them into your accounts, even if it's $25 a month, even if it's $50 a month, start a savings pot. And then, meet with a financial advisor. If you don't have one, I can connect you with a few people that says, hey, my family wants to start doing $50 a month in investments. That's very different than just putting it into a savings account. So, get that $1,000 emergency fund going and then say, now I want to start putting something into an investment account so I can start seeing some of my money make money.
Yeah, and Brandon, I'll definitely make sure next Friday I'm gonna have some stuff to talk about for Chevron too. Like my mom said, we be on different stuff. I learn about real estate investing from her. She can learn about different stuff from me. I'm personally an investor that I like to invest in like the same 3 to 5. Like I might trade NASDAQ or the S&Ps, or if I'm doing like Robinhood or Webull and I'm on that, I might look at QQQ and the S&Ps. Like I might only look at those two for the week. So I'm glad that you did mention Chevron, because now that I just added it to my watch list, so that'll give me something else to look into. I'm always open to looking into like new investments or learning new information, whether it's real estate or stock market, whatever it is. But before I actually get into it, like I said, I'm gonna go look into it throughout the week, and then Friday I'll come back and we can converse on what you think about it as well.
Yes, I think that's a great advice to definitely do your research. Do your research and try
so many different ways to invest. Like
I was about to say, it's just so much.
It'd be a lot.
Yeah, when people ask me, I'm just like, I have so many accounts. I just really do. I have a lot of accounts for a lot of different things. They're for a lot of different purposes. So some of them are, long term. Some of them are short term. Sometimes I have my finance lady that'll come at the house, even before my kids go off to college when they were in high school, and just have conversations with them about, short-term investments versus long-term. And when we're putting money up, what are their plans for their future on what you want to do? So every pocket of money is not even for the same thing. So when you're investing, it depends on like, what are you trying to do with this? What are you trying to do with this money? Like I may have some accounts that I put pockets of money in just only to buy a house or buy another, when I say a house, an investment property. So I may have it sitting there, but it's not meant for long term. It's meant for a short term place to just sit as a holding spot, get a little bit of interest in it, 6 or 10, or if I can get a little bit more, if I can get 18%, sometimes it really just depends on if I can get some interest on it, and then I'm dumping it out. So it's not going to be something that's, I feel like, oh, all my money's gone. Like, no, I used it for investment. So, we have to think about that as well when we're looking to invest. Brandon said, yes, that's a bet, because he was responding to your comment.
Yeah, I was reading.
Yeah.
Ada said, I wonder how the young lady, it just popped up. I wonder how the young lady lived during COVID. We're in the COVID mode now because we are looking to buy our land and do some renovations, stay home, eat at home, and travel less to save more. No, seriously, I just was talking in the group chat earlier. I had a couple, anybody who know, I got 2 TikToks. I have a mental health TikTok, which is just I think it's I Am Brand Mental Health, and then I got a Travel with Tay TikTok, where I one of the things I like to do for fun is go travel around the world. I'm actually on like this. I want to check off all of the world wonders, so I like to go places where I can see like either the world wonders or like go to where Jesus was baptized. Like I like to go see things like that out here, but I actually had to cancel I had to sit and reflect with myself, and I canceled all my trips for the beginning of the year stuff just because I wanted more for myself. Like I wanted more for my brand. I wanted, more accolades. Like I was, telling my mom, I think I might go back to school again just because I just want more. So I feel like that's going into my mental health segment a little bit, my mental health quick hit that I just want to tell people. I just feel like people should sit with their self, and especially the young lady who sent the letter in today, and just learn about who you are a little bit more. Like when you really sit with yourself and we talk about saving and budgeting, investing, like it might seem easy to do. Like now, me and you, we both at the point where it's kind of easy because my mom been telling me for 10 years it's time to have a seat. So it's the people that's around you, one, and also with yourself. So now I learned, like, it is okay to have a seat. I don't always gotta, take a trip every month or do this and that. And I'm learning that when I do sit in the house and, meal prep for the week, I'm saving up more money. I'm able to invest into different things like that. So I feel like the more that you're able to sit with yourself and understand who you are and understand that budgeting is not easy to everyone. It's not natural to everyone. If it was easy, then everybody would be getting rich. It's way more people that are, on the lower class or don't have money than people that do have money, because it's difficult to be disciplined. And that's what I really want to elaborate on, is the discipline aspect of it. So I feel like once you get the discipline part of it, then you really can go out here in the world and achieve anything that you want to. But until you get that discipline, it's going to be very tough to get to the next level if you're not disciplined within yourself.
Yeah, I think that's a great mental health moment for this episode, because, that discipline is one of those things that when you master discipline in your life, discipline with your emotions, discipline with your spendings, discipline financially, spiritually, everything, like you'll just see the growth within yourself and you'll see yourself becoming a different person. Like I always say that, I've watched myself, and imagine if I can see it in myself, that other people can see it within me. I've watched myself grow and literally become a different person. And it's not that you're, changing because you think you're better and all the things that our community try to make us feel like anytime that we are growing and changing. And this is a letter for a whole nother day. So hopefully somebody write on that or we'll come up with a topic. But, one thing that I'm going to add on that is that discipline requires you getting to a level of understanding that you may lose some people along the way.
For sure.
Discipline and success comes with a certain level of maturity and knowing that some people that you love dearly, like think of some people right now that you just love dearly, that they may not be able to take that road with you. And oftentimes people will realize that in their growth, and then they'll stop growing because they'll see like, wait a minute, I don't want to lose these relationships. I don't want to lose these friendships. So they will pull themselves back just because they're like, hey, as I grow further, I'm starting to see some people are not liking it. And I don't want to lose these relationships. So I'm going to slow down on my growth in order to fit in with everyone else. So that's a whole different conversation for a different time. Brandon said discipline also comes with sacrifice and shedding. It does. Just like how I say it costs to be successful, it costs. Discipline is another level of life, and once you master it, you will start noticing some things. And I posted something on my Instagram earlier today that said, have you ever noticed that people that God removed from your life, you never even run into them anymore?
I wish Will was on here right now, because I woke up this morning, my phone is acting crazy. I woke up this morning and seen you post it. And I literally tagged Will on it and said, wasn't we literally just talking about this the other day? Literally, like that's the truth.
Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever noticed that once you reach that next level and God starts to remove people from your life, that you don't need, we all in the same city. We all in the same town. People have been saying for years, Baltimore's so small. How is it that when God removed these people from my life that I never even run into them anymore?
Yeah, I live in Houston, Texas, and there's people who I met in 2020, 2021 when I first moved down here. Even people that's from Baltimore that live down here, I haven't seen them till this day. Like if I don't want you to see me, you probably not gonna see me.
Yeah, we used to run in the same circles, doing all the same things. How is that when God transforms my life, that He doesn't even allow me to be in the same presence of you anymore? Just things like that just become so powerful. So just know discipline comes with another level that you have to be prepared for. You have to be prepared to grow. So like Monte said, sitting with yourself, that emotional intelligence, making sure that you understand some of the sacrifices and some of the things that you want to do to grow and to become that person, it will transform who you are mentally, spiritually, everything. You will become literally a new person and a new creature. And with that being said, it's going to be some things that will need to shed. And sometimes people are not ready for that conversation. So they choose not to do better. They choose not to be better.
Yeah, like you said, success costs a lot, and it's definitely more than just money. And like you said, it's a conversation for a whole nother Finance Friday. But a lot of millionaires will say, like, I'll see people doing the little interviews, and they'll be like, yeah, sir, like, what is like the moment that, you know, you've seen change for you? Or they'll ask, like, what do all millionaires have in common? Or what's the moment you seen where, you know, your come up started? And they said, when I stopped helping everybody. When I started telling people, just like you said, no is a complete sentence. When I started telling people no.
Yeah, no is a complete sentence. Make sure you teach your children that. No, period. No explanation. No, we're not going to discuss it. No is a full sentence. Yep. Morgan said, no one should freeload off of your hard work. Exactly. You know, you're trying to grow. You're trying to be a better person. Even Monte and his friends right now are doing 75 challenge. I forgot what they call it. But even, you know, when you change your eating habits and things like that, like that's all. Health is wealth. You know, all of those things, you will just start to see yourself like, listen, as I make this money, I want to live longer with it. So I want to be healthier. I don't want to vape. I don't want to smoke. I don't want to drink all the time. You know, I want to be able to get to a point where if I want to do all the things that I want to achieve, I want to be here for a long time. I don't want to turn 50 and now I'm having strokes. I can't walk and this and that. And now I'm 60 years old. I can barely stand. I can't vacation. I can't do anything. Like now you'll reach those levels of things that you want to do and you'll become a better person overall. So you definitely can't have people in the way that, like you said, that's a whole nother conversation. But yes, get ready for that. Because, you know, that's something that we have all dealt with as we have grown, that you're going to lose people. And it's sad. It's unfortunate. Like it really it boils down to that. But I definitely love that mental health moment. And I think that's a great way to wrap up this episode. Hopefully everybody got a lot from this letter. Hopefully the main thing of the shows is that, you know, hopefully you hop on and you leave with just even 1% more of information than you came on with. Like, did you learn one thing? Did one thing stick with you? If so, then we did our job.
Or if you even just heard a quick sentence or segment or word or something that just sparked something in you that's just like, you know what, I want to do this. I would like do something different. I heard Derek Falcon, Seven Streams, he always say, do the hard stuff so that your life can be easier. That's what discipline is. People always want to do the easy stuff and wonder why your life is becoming so hard. So if you do the hard stuff, then later on down the line, you know, life will be easier for you. So when you understand that, I feel like you'll understand a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you guys for joining us this evening on another episode of Finance Friday. We don't want to hold you guys any longer. We try to keep the episodes short and sweet. So we definitely thank you for all the participation. Just make sure that you do something that you need to do today so that you can do what you want to do later. Brandon left us another comment. Let me get this. And Dr. Ebb, I know you were saying you send your kids a bunch of stuff and they also have mutual funds. How do you feel about cash value life insurance policies for children? Well, let me add this because Brandon is, he have a question, but we gonna end yet. All right. So, I personally don't have any of those for my children because what I do teach my children is that life insurance should be something that's used just for that purpose alone, like burial, God forbid something happens and you need to have services or things like that. If you are looking for ancillary income, you need to invest. I'm just really, really big on investments. So I have even, you know, multiple policies on myself, large policies, all of those things, because I have young people that I care for. But as my children are older and now they don't depend on my income as much, I can start shrinking those policies and now investing those extra funds. So that's kind of how, and I know it's an old school, even like Primerica way, but it's tried and true. So, you know, I personally don't do them, that I don't do those kind of policies because I'm heavy on investments. I'm really, really heavy on the investment side. Now, I do know some people, just like Monte said, it's so many different ways to build wealth. So I do know that strategy works. It's just not a personal strategy of mine. So it's not that I am against it, but I am for, you know, getting those money market accounts, some investment accounts, and within those mutual fund accounts, my kids have ETFs. They have all of those things within the mutual fund accounts. We have some that are aggressive because of their age, some of them that are moderately aggressive. So you can sit down and make those adjustments as well based on their age. Because a lot of them, I started out very young, like they had some of these investment accounts. Like I see my baby girl Jordan on here. She probably had an investment account since she was 5 years old. These kids, they've had it for a long time. I see Jules on here. Jules says such good gems. Thank you, Julesy. But Julesy also has so many investment accounts. They know they have these accounts, so when they get older, and let's just say they get to a point where they say, hey, Mom, send me $500 for my investment accounts. It doesn't make me feel any kind of way. If anything, I'm proud that my kids know that if they need to tap into some money, that they have it, that they have these funds. And what we do is we just do automatic deposits each month into their accounts. So we're hitting the stock market and we're hitting the ETFs, we're hitting the REITs every single month. So if there's some highs or some lows, we're not waiting until we have $10,000 just to put in there at one time. We're doing the small amount, 100, 200, 300, 50. We started at different increments. And what I do is every year I increase it by 25%. So whenever we started, every year it increases automatically by 25%. And that's how their level of investments going into each one of their accounts even increases. Hopefully that gem helps a little bit. And if anybody wants me to deep dive into like specific topics like that one week, then just let us know, because Monte's very aware of his investment accounts. He knows that he has it. He knows, like everybody, my kids know. So if you want to,
I was going to say those are definitely very helpful. Like it'd be times where I'll be needing to use my investment account sometimes. So I'd be like, definitely glad I got that safety net over there, and that, my mom was able to introduce us to that and put us on that early. And that's why I was saying the two main things on the mental health side that I was preaching today is the self-awareness with yourself and the people that you hang around you. Because if everybody that's on here right now still, if you look at the 5 to 7 most closest people to you, 4 to 5 most closest people to you, it's either people that's around you that's pushing you to do better, which is like she said, we doing the 75 challenge. I know y'all might have seen me drinking out of this glass thing. I just made some homemade Sprite, 4 ingredients, Saratoga sparkling water, organic agave, lemon and lime, freshly squeezed. It tastes exactly like Sprite, no sugar. And I put a little bit of Himalayan salt for like nutritional benefits and stuff. So, and I got people around me that's holding me accountable to that. I don't know if Sage is still on here, but we taking our 75 challenge series is more than just healthy eating and working out. We actually taking it into another level of discipline and letting it transition over to business. And actually, after this Finance Friday call, I got a business call with my business partner for I Am Brand. So just look at the people that's around you, and either those are people that's pushing you, or either you have to be the person that'll step outside the circle and say, you know what, we not going out this Saturday. Let's go do this instead. Let's go to the library. Let's go to the park. Let's get on a Zoom call. So if those people around you are not pushing you to do better and are not putting certain things in front of you for you to reach success, like investment accounts, or, if you're in a group chat with people and y'all not talking about investments, stocks, the war, what's going on in the world, stuff that's actually important, then you probably need a new group chat. And just really quick before we let y'all go, we kept saying there's a lot of different ways to invest out here, and one of the ways everybody knows Dr. Broke the Ebb is investing through real estate. One of my books, so every day during 75, we got to read a book, like read a chapter, read 10 pages, 20 pages, however much it is. So one of my books that I've been reading lately, and I've been marking it up like crazy, is this Building Wealth Through Real Estate. If you're interested in getting into real estate, my mother has another book. And when I say this book here, like she sent it to me years ago when it first came out, and I read it, skimmed through it and everything, taking the real estate classes. But this, like, there's so many different ways to invest. So I just wanted to show y'all this Building Wealth Through Real Estate book. If you're interested in real estate, if you follow my mom, anything like that, you should definitely have this book, because I have another book over here somewhere. It's called like Beginner to Airbnbs or something like that. And it don't give a lot of real information. Like it just tell you like what is called surface level information and stuff like that. And even I don't know if you remember when we both were reading Rick Ross' book together.
Yeah,
with one of his old books. Mm-hmm. And we was like, Rick Ross just basically like, if you want to be a boss, get up and be your own boss. Like you can do it. Like it was just surface level like motivation. But if y'all go get this Building Wealth Through Real Estate, it's actual gems that y'all can use on here if you're interested in investing in real estate, becoming a realtor, investor, any of that. So I just want to show y'all this as well.
Yeah, I'm glad, because as soon as you said that, I didn't want to cut you off, but I was going to give that same example when we were both reading Rick Ross' book together. You had a copy, I had a copy, and we were kind of reading it together. We thought afterwards we was going to do a little mother-son book club and talk about it. And I was like, this book ain't telling us how to do nothing.
He's like, I got 50 rooms in my house. If I did it, you can do it too. It just
it wasn't teaching us nothing. I was just like, oh my goodness, this was horrible.
And I know both of us, I'm gonna leave it with this. I know both of us are two people who don't really need the outside motivation because we motivate ourselves. Like, we are self-motivated, and we, like I said, it's on your circle. We got people around us. We up in the morning dropping gems, sending us all of this stuff. So it's like, it's kind of hard to not be motivated when you're around a circle of people who just always motivated and stuff. So yeah, just tap into the information.
Yeah, tap into the information. Tap in. I love that y'all are here with us every week. We're gonna try to grow this and share as much things. So let me put my little banner up here too with our email. So tap into Finance Friday letters if you would like to send in any letters to us. Please send them to the email address so that we can
at the bottom of the screen coming across.
Yeah, I put it at the top. It's at the top now.
Okay.
Email us at financefridayletters@gmail.com. Even if it's just something quick that you want us to talk about, give us some insight on what you want us to share. Because obviously, Monte knows, he's been there with me from day one. He can talk about everything that I can talk about. He's been there. We have these same experiences, and we really, really live this. So they will tell you all of the things that I've been sharing with them since they were kids, like all of my kids. We might even have a channel where I chime in. I see Josie's on here.
That's Jordan right there.
That's Jordan. We'll chime them in just so, people love to hear that we are really living this every single day. Like, we really, really are. My kids live, you heard Monte say he has a Travel with Tay TikTok page. He be traveling the world. He graduated from college when he was 21 years old, went off to college, graduated from high school at 17, went to Penn State. He's been living in a different state pretty much since 2015, just out traveling the world, seeing the world. I just love that for all of them. Like, I'm just so proud of all that we have sacrificed for them to be able to live this life, because that's what it's all about. And I know we have Brandon and Morgan on here, the Wright family, and I know they're on the stream because that's what they, as families, that's what we want for our children as well. We want to work so hard to give them the ability to have these things and to live, a financial free life. And these are the ways to set them up. So just knowing this information that we possibly all didn't know all the details as early as we would like to know them. Once you get the information, start somewhere, especially your children, get them set up. April is Financial Literacy Month. Please, if you don't do anything else today, sit down with your children and go over a financial literacy term. Go over the definition, make sure they understand it. If you can, for the every day this month, in the month of April, come up with a new financial literacy term to go over with your children. Make sure they understand the definition, understand what it is. Put a new financial term into their vocabulary. Dr. Leah said, I'm so proud of you both. You're creating something meaningful together. Thank you. We definitely appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Lilia. Definitely appreciate it. Do you have your financial literacy book out for kids right now?
I do. So I have my coloring books. I'm putting some of my color. I'm gonna post tomorrow. So some of my coloring books, I'm gonna go around to it's some communities, especially where I live at, that have free libraries in the community. I ordered 75 of my coloring books because I'm going to specifically just to drop off in some of the free libraries. So if I go down to the Baltimore area, I will do it as well. I want to drop some off in Southern Maryland, Prince George's County, and some different communities where they have the free wooden box libraries, if anybody's seen them before. So I'm going to post some different locations where I've dropped off some of my free books. So if you have some little ones to grab them, you can always purchase them on Amazon. But for Financial Literacy Month, I'm going to drop off free financial literacy coloring and activity books in different libraries across Maryland as I go out in my travels. So that's my plans for the month of April. And hopefully I can do it every April. God will bless me with enough overflow to be able to purchase books and give them away, because I give them away a lot when I go out to schools and things like that also. I'm probably giving away more than I've sold some of the coloring books, because I just give so many of them away because people love them. But thank you for joining us this week. Send in your letters, send in your topics. You grab some gems. Again, thank you for joining another episode of Finance Friday, the CEO Lounge.
We appreciate y'all time. I feel like some of y'all family.
Yes, they come and check us out. Yes, we are so great.
Weekly. Definitely sending you prayers, Mr. Wright. Brandon, hope you feeling better. And we definitely appreciate y'all for tapping in. Thank you, Jordan. Loves. And put me back on iMessage games.
Yes.
Might be a little late responding. I'm about to get on another business call, but you know how he is, Jordan. So thank y'all, and we'll see y'all again next Friday.
Enjoy your Friday. Thank you for joining another episode of the CEO Lounge.
Don't forget to check on your strong friends. Mental health matters.